right back.
You go right ahead and do that. I'll chew on something while you're doing it.
All right.
So good morning, everybody. And yes, I have a mouthful of Little Debbie's Nutty Buddy bar as my breakfast. When I walked up here, I wasn't hungry, and then I got to sit down and start working. I'm starving. Blueberry muffins sound good. But, I figure this has all the essential nutrients. I mean, it's got peanut butter, protein. It's got chocolate, which is, in moderation is supposed to be good for you. It's got, flour and wheat. I bet there's some other kind of enriching vitamins in here too. I just bet you. Because, Little Debbie's one of those kind of conscientious snack companies. So I said. Tina, cinnamon rolls sound good too. And this is the closest thing I've got to a donut this morning. So, see, it's sort of a long, skinny wafer style donut. Which is that? What, Chris? What did you say? You said, man, whatever they processed it with. Exactly. Chocolate is a vegetable. It's beans. Good point. Good point, Tina. Well, I ordinarily wouldn't eat so much in everybody, but I'm gonna finish it. I've got a couple bites left. Well, whether it's a fruit or a bean, bottom line is it must be nutritious. I mean, surely an American snack food company wouldn't process something if it wasn't good for me, right? Good morning, Maple Bacon. I want you to know that I'm finished. Since you didn't show up in time, I'm finishing up my poor excuse for a donut is a nutty bar. Chocolate covered peanut wafers. Mr. Uncas is with us. He just went to get a cup of coffee. So good morning. As long as you save me a slice of that birthday cake. Well, Mike, you know what? I should have taken Brenda, send me a picture of that birthday. Well, you're going to get up to do that. Hey, look here. I got a thing on my phone even knows it's my birthday. It says it's happy birthday all day long. My wife made me a delicious birthday cake and made me stay up till midnight last night so we could eat a piece of it. And which made me sleep late this morning and which made me late getting up here. So I didn't get to, if you see lots of mistakes or typos in my show, it's because I didn't get to review it this morning. Yeah, right. Like that's the only reason. Oh, so how is Wyoming this fine day?
It's going to be gorgeous.
It is here too, I think. Bright and
I
sunny.
think it's going to be 70-ish degrees, and it's bright and sunny, and
What was the temp this
it's going to
morning?
be a fine day. And
What
I'm
was
and I'm
what
going to the dump.
you're going to the dump?
The dump.
What are you doing at the dump? Just hauling trash?
Dropping off old ranch building parts and things that we're cleaning up.
Any chance you take a big stick and kill some rats while you're there or anything fun like
I
that?
I would like to go out there of an evening with a flashlight taped to my rifle barrel, but
We would. I mean, it sounds like why would people laugh about
I,
killing
there
something?
ain't. We don't have any. Well, knock on wood, we don't have Norway rats or black rats here. We just have real. We have wood rats and cool
You got
rats.
you got
Native,
natural
native.
rats.
We have natural rats.
Yeah, that's kind of handy.
Yeah, they're
That's
just not. They might be some there in Kimmer. But I don't think so. I've never seen a rat in Wyoming.
I wonder if that's because there's too many predators.
I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be good. Which would be a good reason to bring back more predators everywhere. Problem with the big Norway rats, though, man, they're tough. I've told you about that young man that I know that's trying to start up an eco-friendly extermination company, haven't I?
Uh-huh.
He's going to hunt them with or not hunt them with rats, uh, dogs
Fellas.
or mink.
Oh, mink. Yeah.
He's wanting to use mink. There's a guy in Idaho. I don't know if we've talked about him or not, but there's a guy in Idaho that is raising, farm raised mink, but he's raising them to hunt rats, and apparently they're pretty effective.
Oh, I suspect. I mean, if they can kill a muskrat, they can darn sure kill a Norway rat.
Yeah. But in Scotland, our home country, one of our home countries. Good morning, Miss Carol. Thank you. Thank you very much. Happy birthday. I like that spelling. That's good. I should have put that on my thing. Apparently, in Scotland and other places in Europe, it's not that uncommon for them to hunt rats with not minks but ferrets.
Ferrets. Yeah.
Line ferrets or line mane ferrets. I guess they're a little bigger than the pet ones, that you see, and they breed them for that over there to help eliminate the rat problem. And I never thought about it, but I'm sure every farmer can tell you this. I'm sure, but that's what got him started. He raises pigs and chickens and turkeys and ducks. I don't know if they got cows or not, but with all that, they've got feed of various sorts, and they've evidently infested with rats. So he's always hunting rats or killing rats, and apparently that's a common problem on farms all over the place.
And good morning, everybody. Sorry I was a little late. I took the last cup.
Oh no, not the last cup.
So I had to make new.
Oh hell, I forgot, Mike. This is your birthday too. Happy birthday, Mike. I forgot. Damn it. I was going to remember that too this year. Happy birthday, Mike.
Both of you guys came out the same day.
We did.
That might be dangerous.
It could be powerful medicine's what it might
Could be powerful medicine. Come here, little guy. Say hey to the folk. Hey,
Wolfie.
folk.
Hey, Wolfie. You look fierce this morning. You look mighty, mighty fierce.
He's He's been barking at varmints. The skunks have emerged.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, Caitlin.
Good morning.
Good morning, Caitlin.
Morning.
Mike said, it's okay, Tim. I just thought you were being mean because I don't share my donuts with you. I would never do that. I would never say something bad things about
That's
it.
right. And me and John share one too.
That's true. You do. I forgot about that too. I'll have to try to remember that come November the whatever it is.
That's one of them serendipitous things.
Is it the 4th?
Fifth.
5th. Philip's the 4th. The 4th of the 5th. Hey, Dave, welcome in. No, yeah, Mike said donut day, but he also said he didn't share them with us. So, that's just how it is. We've come to just expect that out of him.
Okay, dancing queen. Off you go.
Dancing queen. I know I don't have that in my head all day.
Come here, buddy. Come here. Hang on. I got.
Hey, good morning, Nico. Welcome in, sir.
Come here, buddy.
I don't know why I put my camera over here and I keep looking over this way. I could look right here and see the same thing. But so watch your eyes.
There you go. See, we got one.
You get motion set. Hey, Key Cat. What's his name? Is that
He's scratching the bejesus out of me.
Is that what's his name? Not Alfred.
I call him Alvin.
Alfred.
But that's not his name. It's
what does Caitlin call him?
Alistair, I think.
Alistair, correct. Hey, good morning, Dave. Steak. Dave, other Dave. I'll just say it that way. Oh, let's see. Nico, have I missed anybody? Not yet. Mike said I would send you all some, but I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay a tariff from sending them. I don't know if there's a donut tariff yet or not, Mike. There might be.
Yeah, I got all the good animals.
How much would that make a dozen donuts down here? I wonder. Sent from all the way from Canada. If you're gonna do that, I want fresh, homemade Canada maple icing on mine. I mean, I might as well be picky.
Is there such a thing?
Oh yeah, there sure are. Hell, I can eat. Oh, excuse me. I can get maple glazed donuts down here. I just can't get them anywhere around here. I have to drive 25 miles to get one. Good morning. I saw somebody else come in.
You got to drive how far to get one?
Huh?
How far?
About 25 miles.
Well, I got to drive that far to the gas station.
Well, you chose that.
I did choose that.
I chose it too, but I didn't realize I was moving that far away from a good donut. Who knew that a town like this?
I got to go a lot further for a good donut, unless I want one of them chocolate ones or sugar covered ones.
Well,
in the pack, in the 6-pack.
You're talking. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I can find them at the gas station.
I could go get. I could. You're right. I could get those, but there's not a fresh donut shop anywhere nearby. So I have to go to Morristown.
That's quite a list.
There's
Dave,
Carol in the room too.
Tina, Mike, Chuck.
That's like a concentration of Dave power in here. I always say if there's more than there's every once in a while I'll get in a chat where there's 3 or 4 different Tims. That's got to be important. I've never been in a room. I've never been anywhere where there's that many Tims at the same time.
Oh my girl. Oh, Miss Penny.
Now who came by? Penny?
Penny.
Hi, Penny.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
See, even Brenda says this would be a great town to open up a donut shop. I guarantee you there's donut eating going on. It's just everybody has to either buy the kind like Mark's talking about in the pack, or they're driving to Kingsport to get them.
I bet you could open a little old shop there and just
Clean up.
clean up.
I kind of think that too, but
Get you some, make some little like apple hand pies and things like that too. Ooh. Ooh.
Man, do you remember that? Do you remember that Indian fry bread we used to get up?
Oh, yeah.
They had savory pies and they had fruit pies.
Yes,
Oh,
I do.
There
are a few things on this planet better than Indian fry bread.
Oh, yeah, stuffed with
whatever, or just by itself.
well, yeah, true.
Navajo taco.
They were good, Tina, and there was I don't know what tribe she was with, but there was a Native American lady there that fixed them right there on the spot, and
and that's what she called them. And that's what she called them. So
yes, she did.
She was from Michigan, I think. She was like a Ojibwe or something from up. I think she was a Yuppie.
She sure made some mighty fine fry bread. I know that. Well, Nico, if you've got a place local where you can get some fry bread, I highly recommend it. Tina's right.
Oh yeah, he lives in the king of fry bread country.
Who does?
Nico.
Nico. Oh, that's right. Hey, Nico, have you heard anything about that hunting? That hunting?
Did you draw an elk license or an antelope? And Carol said if she's from Michigan, she was a fine person indeed.
Well, Carol, by and large, I would agree with you. I did say by and large because I do know a few people that lived up there for a long time who might say they were from Michigan, and I'm not sure about some of them. But then again, they didn't start in Michigan, so maybe
no.
Huh?
No, he didn't draw anything.
Oh no, he said that. I didn't see the post. Oh, there it is. Oh man. Well, that stinks.
I don't even I haven't even applied yet up here. We don't apply till May.
Can I apply for anything? Or is that too late?
You can apply for deer and antelope in May with the residents. I think you're too late for elk.
Well, I wouldn't want to do elk. I wouldn't mind coming out there and hunting deer or something though again. It's been a long time since I did that. It's been at least 20 years ago.
Come out here and do a doe antelope hunt. We can get them from the backyard.
That'd be easy. That's almost cheating. And come out to Mark's place, get me a moose. I know I can't get. I'm just saying this. I'm just saying this. Get a moose, get an antelope, muskrat,
crawfish.
What else could I eat? What else could I?
Beaver.
Yeah, beaver. Maybe a badger. A porcupine, except he's
skunks and river otters. Mink.
Mink, river otters. That's right. I wonder if a river otter would hunt rats. Okay, since we're talking about rats, well, we're not, but I'm going to. One of the reasons
We're
why
not doing another rodentia.
no, not today. But I'm going to talk about this anyway. And going back to that rat and the mink thing. One of the reasons why this guy's promoting mink over ferrets. Apparently, some of the bigger Norway rats can catch a ferret, and pop its head just as easily as the ferret can turn around and do the same thing to him. So it's kind of an even fight, and it's not, and maybe not even fair to the ferret. So that's where minks come out ahead, apparently. Tina, I got this from Google. Fry bread is a simple, there you go, that's it. That's what it is.
It's got a little bit, but it's got a little sweetness to it, regardless of what kind you get. There's got to be a little bit of sugar in there somewhere, honey or something that.
Sometimes it's eaten just like Mark said, plain with just as like a bread. You can sop up your gravy with it, or I mean, I've seen fry bread, but there's other countries have something similar. I know in the Middle East they eat some kind of a flat bread that's similar, and so I guess it's
What do they call that bread, Caitlin, from the Middle East? Naan bread.
Yeah, that's it. Naan bread.
I knew my daughter would know it.
Spelled Nan, I think, isn't it, Caitlin?
Yeah. She's gone. She's feeding cats.
Nico says it's 2 A's, or he's got
2 A's.
Yeah, it's Middle Eastern bread, but it's very similar. I mean, it's along the same lines as fry bread, as I recall, and it's it's easy to make, and So what I'm saying is there's a similar bread, I guess, scattered all cultures around the world. They have something similar, but
one of my buddies that was spent some time in the sandbox, he called them Middle Eastern tortillas, the naan bread, which basically it is. I mean,
yeah, it's a little thicker.
Looks like a flour tortilla.
Yeah. Tina says, kind of reminds me of fried dough, only no confectioner, sugar, or cinnamon. Well, it is. That's kind of what it is. I mean, and I used to make. I can't remember where I learned how to do this. Probably Boy Scouts. But we used to make bread on a stick the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Just make a thick dough, and roll it around.
Roll it around a stick
and roll it around a stick and hold it over the coals or the fire and let it cook. You got to remember to turn it around once in a while you're doing something else, and you end up with sort of a bread. I mean, what's bread? It's just not real.
Yeah, and fried bread is fried, obviously.
Yeah.
It's only you got how I've seen them making it. They got a big deep dish, kind of a Dutch oven deal with hot oil going in it, just sizzling away, and they drop that dough in there, and boy, is it tasty.
Yeah, Nico saying he had some fresh naan on a rooftop in the Middle East, fresh out of the open air oven. So and then there's another version. I don't know if they might do naan this way too, but I've seen it made like on top of a round metal. I don't know if you'd call it a griddle, but it's almost like a pan turned upside down, and they cook on the surface around it, and they'll pour the dough on that and let it cook and flip it over, and then take it off, as opposed to putting it in an oven or in actually dropping it into the fresh oil or grease. I don't know which way they do naan exactly, but anyway, fry breads can be quite tasty. I'm sure there's some that might not be, but I hope if you try it on my recommendation, you get the good kind.
I never have had a bad piece of it.
Well, I hadn't either. I'm just trying to hedge my bets. That there might be something.
Well, I mean, I got a 60-pound border collie male wrestling with I don't know how big he is, maybe 15-pound black cat.
In the house?
Yeah, they're just wrestling. They're not.
It ain't serious fighting.
No. We don't get any serious interest in the cat until the grand dogs come over.
Oh, yeah.
One set in particular.
Well, did I lose my show? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I don't think the cat would win, Tina.
I'm gonna put this up and so that I'm ready and I can get everything in the right place and not lose anything. Hopefully.
We're doing car seats point 2, aren't we, today?
What part 2?
Car seats part 2.
No, we're not doing car seats part 2. I just said that.
Car seats 2. Car seats 2, the sequel.
The sequel. Or we could be car seats 2, the prequel. And not and it just be, kids tied in with a bungee cord or something. Or just kids like us riding around in the back of the pickup.
Up the back of the pickup or up in the back window. On
if
that,
you have a car big,
on the kid shelf.
I hated it when the window thing went away. What's that?
Carol. No. Oh.
I'm kidding. We're going to talk about birds.
Oh, I knew you was going to start out with buzzards.
Well, that's just, I started out with them because they're first on my list. But did you like I had a raptor on there, but it was the wrong one.
I like that.
I thought that was a snappy opening. So we're going to talk about the diurnal raptors today because we've talked about Brenda. Here's why I did this today, Brenda, and why I'd already started. We're going to do your suggested topic next week, but I'll keep that a secret for now. Brenda suggested that we talk about owls, and I said I think I've done owls, but I'll look, and it's been a while, but I have. I don't know if it was last year, it might have even been year before last.
We did owls at some point.
Yeah, we did, but I hadn't talked about the other ones.
I don't remember if it was like all the species in the world or just if we were talking about certain things about owls. I don't remember.
Yeah, I had different. I looked at it quickly. I did have a lot of different species, but I don't remember if they were worldwide or North American. These birds that I'm going to talk about today are New World, as opposed because they travel far and they're mostly pretty plentiful. Mostly, I didn't realize it till yesterday, but turkey vultures and I think black vultures both are basically all over South America and up here. Not everywhere up here, but pretty common. And most places up here, I'll show you a map in a minute, but and you see them all over. You see them interacting with other large diurnal raptors of the same type. We'll say condors and vultures for the benefit of today's show, because that's mostly what I'm going to talk about. Tina says, or on the hood. What's that?
We're going to do a whole show on condors and vultures.
Well, it's because I ran out of time. I'm sure we're going to talk about other things too, but Tina says we have them. We saw some yesterday. You guys are, where is the place in Ohio? Hinckley? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Where all the turkey vultures go? I bet they got black vultures by the gazillion now too.
Yeah, well, especially
I had one of the first records for the state of Ohio for when I was in school up there for black vultures.
So
my ornithology professor, we were Oh, somewhere not too far from Nelsonville, and I said that those look like black vultures, and my ornithology professor was like, "Oh, it couldn't be," and he looked out and he goes, "Oh," and he stopped the vehicle, and all of us piled off, and we were on a field trip somewhere. And anyway, when I was a boy and going up visiting grandparents, I never saw a black vulture, but they're thick as thieves there now.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize you guys did. I mean, I don't know how common they were
I
here.
don't remember them in East Tennessee either, quite frankly.
Well, maybe I don't either. Maybe I just assumed because we had turkey vultures, and they weren't as common.
They don't necessarily completely overlap in distribution, and they're
Well, no, not everywhere. They're not.
but they've definitely taken. But this started a long time ago now. I don't want to go 30 plus years ago now when I first saw black vultures in Ohio.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, I'm sure they were susceptible to the same things that dropped other bird populations like DDT and lead.
Oh, certainly.
Because they were eating carrion. These guys pretty much always eat carrion, but and you never know.
There's really cool. I'm jumping the gun, but there's some really cool interaction that occurs between the two species that we'll talk about later.
Okay. Tina, diurnal means that they do their work.
Daytime birds. Daytime birds.
Daytime birds, yeah. Owls are nocturnal, and these guys work in the daytime.
Most of them.
And it's not just vultures and condors. I mean, that also includes all the hawks and falcons. But I'm not going to get I can't get all of them in one time and do any justice to any of it. So, and maybe I don't anyway, but I'm going to do my best. But these guys are, to me, they've always been pretty interesting, and they've gotten, in some ways, more interesting, and in some ways more because of this increase in numbers, and there are many more than there used to be.
Well, I took you by that roost there in Jackson where Mom and Dad live. I think that motel that you and Brenda stayed at was right there. There's a huge vulture roosting site there, kind of in a town park.
Yeah.
And it's probably 50-50 black vultures versus turkey vultures. It's cool. You go there when the dew's heavy and early in the morning, and they're all and you got those God rays happening in the sky, and they got their wings all hanging out like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
They are neat that way. You see them that way a lot, and you see them that way down here in the trees too, and they'll be up there just sunning.
They're one of the coolest creatures, or some of the coolest creatures on the planet, and some of the nastiest.
Yeah, both. They have both. I wouldn't know the difference. Yeah, well, you might after today, Tina, because there is a.
We'll tell you the difference.
Yeah, and it's pretty significant. I don't know if he told this story, but he might have. Steve Cottrell. I mean, it's significant enough that 40 years ago, Cottrell and went off chasing a story of a vulture nest because they were so rare, at least in most places around here, that they were trying to document some. It wasn't an official thing. It was just sort of something they were doing on the side. But, a couple of the biologists back were just keeping their ears open, but they were trying to find some, and especially on on federal property. And that's where the story came from, where they went off. I think he told Longneck, we talked about the harnesses The
He,
short neck.
he talked about the vulture story. He talked about
Yeah, I
the
thought he did, and that's what that was all about. Now it doesn't look like, well, Tina, the head is different, and that's what makes it. Well, it's a different bird, but the head looks more kind of like a turkey head. They're very colorful, more colorful. Black vultures look just like this guy sitting here in this photograph that's on the front page there. They're black. They got some. They do have some wing color that's lighter. Um, I'm gonna call it white to gray. I don't know exactly, but you'll see. I've got some pictures with their wings open. But the head, they're just black like this guy, and they're small. And these are smaller. The tail's different. In flight, they look different, a little bit different. But
well, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's
yeah, you'll know.
the ones you confused. Well, I don't know how many slides you got. So
Yeah, hang on, hold that thought. But they also hunt different. Turkey vultures versus black vultures hunt two different ways, which I always thought was kind of interesting. One actually hunts by scent, at least that's what I've always been told, and the other one hunts visually. It's sort of a sight hound kind of a concept. You know what? I'm going to sit back, drink my coffee, and listen, and I'll bet I'll find out. I bet you will too, Tina.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure which.
I'm not sure where we're going.
Well, you're gonna find out here.
That's what happens when two collaborators live clear across the country from each other.
Yeah, and don't talk enough. We should go over.
Well, I talk too much, but
no, that's not what I mean. I mean we don't collaborate on the stories during the week. What you're getting here is fresh and raw material, guys. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you feel like it, or not. You don't have to. Now let me back up. You don't have to hit the like button. You can hit the don't like button, but it shows that I'm getting a little bit of viewing.
But that'll make us really sad.
Yeah, well, it would, but we wouldn't know who it was, so it'd be okay. At least I knew if you hit the unlike button, I know you watched it. That'd make more sense sometimes. Anyway, leave a comment and practice on your rabbit hunt. We never know when we might have to go hunt. Today is a strange day. I'm just going to say that right out in the open. It's my birthday, and I had a hard time finding.
It's Mike's birthday.
And Mike's birthday, but when I was so Mike shares this too. Then, hey, Rhonda, welcome in. Caffeinated Misfit has joined us.
Good morning.
Oh, you're quite all right, Rhonda. Don't worry, you're never that late. I couldn't find a lot of what I thought were interesting things that happened on today, but I got a few. The first one I thought was cool for me because today in 1910, the very first seaplane flew. Managed to take off and fly around and land. And then after that, seaplanes got to be kind of a big deal for a while because somebody figured out that you had a lot of water you could land on, and it was sometimes safer than just ground. And some of the world speed records early on were set by seaplanes, which I always thought was odd because they got those big old floats hanging out there in the wind, dragging them down. But anyway, they did. And that particular airplane was invented by Henry Fabre. This day in 1920 was Palm Sunday, which I guess tomorrow will be Palm Sunday in the Christian world. And a huge outbreak of tornadoes ran across the Great Lakes region and down into the south. And I didn't put all the numbers here, but there were quite a few deaths and a lot of damage from that. That was a really big tornado outbreak. So all those kind of things aren't just new now to the weather. It seems like they're worse now than they used to be, but there have been other times when they've been bad. In 1968, Martin Luther King led the Memphis sanitation workers march and he eventually turned up a day or two later and he was shot at the What was the name of that hotel? I had it right on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, which led to his assassination. So that happened. Oh, I got my dates backwards. 1963, during some of the civil rights stuff, over 100 high school students conducted a sit-in in Rome, Georgia, which I thought was interesting that it was high school students, just high school students back then. But they were protesting segregation in schools, which I'm quite sure Georgia held for a long time. Oh, I was reading the chat there for a minute. But here's something that happened a lot, Mike. It seems like there's a lot of earthquakes on March 28th. I don't know why, but it just seems like there are. 1970, there was an earthquake that hit Western Kentucky. Oh my God. Western Turkey. And,
Same difference.
Same difference. It killed over 1,000 people. And then in 1970, oh, that's another one. I'm going to come back to that. In 2005, there was an earthquake that hit northern Sumatra and it killed over 1,000 people. And then there was another one in 2025 that killed over 5,000 people. That was in Miramar. And then in this year already, there was one. No.
In Myanmar, even.
Myanmar.
Not Miramar. That's where you learn to be a top gun.
I didn't mean Miramar. Myanmar. Also today, in 1979, was when the Three Island nuclear plant release and accident happened in Harrisburg, PA. And I always thought that 3 Mile Island was down river from that. I didn't realize it was in Harrisburg.
Cajuns are in the house.
Do what?
Cajuns are in the house.
Hey, Jason, welcome in.
Mr. Thibodeau joined us.
Anyway, there's been a lot of earthquakes on this day throughout history. Also in 1990, President George H.W. Bush posthumously awarded Jesse Owens a Congressional Gold Medal, and that had to do with it took them that long to give him a medal for anything like that, and that happened because of the 1936 Olympics when he beat all the Aryan nation stuff from Germany. That's when Hitler was trying to show off his great, and Jesse Owens showed them that they weren't the only ones that knew how to run and do stuff in the athletic department. He won more gold medals than anybody. I think he won 4 gold medals, and then some other stuff too that he placed high up in, and made them look bad because they were really bright. Hitler was really bragging about how great they were. So that was I thought that was interesting anyway. And then I found out I shared a birthday with a couple of other people that are famous for being in the music industry. One of them I can't stand, and the other one I thought the other one would have to be better than the first one. The first one tried to get me thrown in jail one time, so I'm not real keen on her. I'm not even going to mention her name.
Oh no, you can't drive.
Well, let's put it this way: her last name is McIntyre, and the first name starts with an R, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I would call her names, but that could get me in real trouble. So, but the other one was Lady Gaga, and I'd much rather. She's never tried to get me thrown in jail, so I like her a whole lot better. Try to do somebody a favor, and all they do is get mad and try to throw you in jail.
Oh well.
Or at least send the FBI after you. That wasn't all that pleasant a day. So we're going to talk a little bit about diurnal raptors, not owls. They're not nocturnal. And we're going to start out with vultures and condors, which is not the
Oh,
most glamorous.
there's always exceptions to the rule.
Well, there's always exceptions to the rule. Who said that? Me or somebody else? Or I mean, just you? Or
No, well, I just said it.
there
Didn't you
are.
hear it?
This skeleton, which doesn't show up the best, is the largest condor I think that they found prehistoric that they found in America, and this one was the only one they ever found in the La Brea tar pits. The only vulture or buzzard. They found lots of other things, but maybe the birds were smart enough to stay out of that sticky stuff. So they've got it on display. I don't know if that's in the Smithsonian or if that one's in California, but it to be the biggest condor means it had wings probably over 12 feet wide. I think the California condor has about a 12-foot wingspan, maybe, or at least or close to that. I'd look it up again. Maybe I wrote it down, but in fact, I probably did write it
They're
down.
ginormous, so that's all I know.
They are big. Let me see if I can pull up my last other slide. Not my last other slide. Is that going away on you guys or just me?
What?
On my screen, that picture is disappearing for some reason.
Well, it's kind of where your cursor's at right now. It's kind of got like streaks on it, but maybe that's just on my computer screen.
No, it's on the reflection. They took this picture through glass.
Yeah.
And so it's like that. There it is. Now let me scoop this over here. Now there I go. Or maybe I'll do it right here. And again, that might make me work. I might confuse.
Yeah, it's not going away.
No, but I've got to. It was on my screen when I touched something on this screen. That screen went blank. That was weird. All right, so that didn't disappear for you guys at all. That's good. So this skeleton is Mark's gonna make fun of me again, but I'm gonna try to say these words. The skeleton of, I think it might be pronounced Gymnogic. I don't know. Gymnogpyps. Amplus, and that was the largest condor ever found in the La Brea tar pits. It's extinct. It's a New World vulture in the family Cathartidae, Cathartidae. The species was first described by Miller in 1911, and it's not going to tell me exactly how big it is. But they did find it in Rancho La Brea, which is there's lots of cool things there. At least it was the only one in Tar Pit 10, which is evidently significant. They think it was at least 9,000 years old.
It was eating mammoths. I'll guarantee you.
Yeah, stuck in the muck. I'm guessing.
Which is one of the problems with the California condor and trying to reestablish it is there's no ginormous creatures floating the earth over there anymore.
Mm-mm. And that's and yeah, we can talk about that because that's my next bird, the California condor. I wish I could pronounce that.
Gymnogips.
Looks like gymnogips.
Gymnogips.
Gymnogips. It's a bunch of letters crammed together with one vowel in there, and it's kind of hard for me to say it. California anus. Anyway, this is the largest bird we have here now, period. It's the largest North American bird, and it technically became extinct in the wild in 1987. And we've talked about that a little bit before because the black-footed farragut. Oh my God, I can't talk today. I can't think. My mind's on the other thing. Other words keep popping in. Ferret, the black-footed ferret that was rescued and now exists somewhat, and that Mark knows about. They raised in the project in Wyoming. They were extinct in the wild for a period of time.
But they
And
weren't.
how are they doing these days?
They weren't extinct.
They weren't extinct, but they collected them all and put them in
They thought they were extinct, but they weren't extinct.
Yeah, but didn't they go out and pick them all up because they were dying off and put them all in captivity and breed them?
Well, a rancher's dog drug one home and dropped it on the porch.
Yeah, I know that.
He killed it in a prairie dog town, and they went out and caught them all that they could find. They did.
That's what I mean.
I'm sure they didn't get them all, and
well, maybe not, but
well, they're still there, so they didn't get them all. And we started the program, and Fish and Wildlife Service took it over after a few decades, and they're reestablishing them where they can. They have a problem with plague.
mm-hmm.
It's the plague in their food source, so they almost solely eat prairie dogs, and European diseases strike yet again. So,
well, and that's the typical kind of thing that happens to species that have disappeared mostly in our age, or in the last couple 100 years. Passenger pigeons were primarily killed by hunting.
Well, they were primarily killed by chopping down all the hardwood forests.
That too, right? But they were
heavily harvested.
By the hundreds and thousands.
But they used to dynamite roosts and all kinds of.
They did that with crows too, and when I was growing up, early years, crows weren't that common around here. My dad used to talk about that. He talked about people going out and dynamiting roosts when he was growing up.
Yeah.
Never totally understood that, but I guess anyway, because he talked about the fact how many fewer crows there were. And that leads to another story, so I'm going to stop before I get there. So these guys, again, died from similar effects. I mean, agricultural changes, DDT, lead poisoning in the foods they ate, that, they would eat pieces of lead shot or lead bullets or whatever that a critter got killed by. They were poached to some degree. There was a market at one time for their feathers, or may still be, I don't know. And of course, habitat destruction, but I'll let Mark talk about the other thing that really had a huge effect that we can't fix. And that's the loss of the carrion, large body.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have ginormous bison and mammoths and whatever else, ground sloths, you name it, all that ginormous megafauna that disappeared at the end of the Pleistocene, it's hard for a critter like this to make a living. I'm sure if humans hadn't mucked about with them a bit, they could probably make a pretty good living on the coast, eating elephant seal carcasses and things of that nature. But
the occasional whale.
You can see the range map. I assume that's current and historic.
I don't have it up there, do I?
What?
Oh yeah, I do. That's yes, that's current and historic. That's correct. And the one that's over there to the side, that's
the Grand Canyon National Monument.
Right, that's in the Grand Canyon, and
the National Park, whatever it is, designation.
And I think I've got some pictures of some.
That's the place where they had a proposal. I don't know if it passed or didn't pass. It was nutsy enough in that state to pass that you could donate yourself to the Condor
as a food source.
and they'd lower your carcass down on the side of one of them big old cliffs and the condors could eat you.
Wow, that'd be a good way to go. I could do that. I've been looking for a chance to do that.
The magpies and coyotes already have me. They've got I'm already branded, so.
Back here, it's harder to get away with that. I've been trying to get Brenda to put me up in the tree for 20 years now, and
I told you how we're going to do that. So.
Oh, I know. I know. I'm all for that. That's close as I'm going to get. But I remember that now. I remember you or somebody talking about that. Actually being able to donate your body instead of the science or sending it to the school for learning or whatever. You could let it be condor food, which I think is kind of neat personally.
And then Kelly could go out there and find your bones.
You could make a memorial out of them.
You could be right there like, I'm going to stop now. You could welcome visitors into the home.
Funny story.
You'd be in different poses, you'd have.
She might be selling me at the show or the festival. In a jar.
My job here is done today, Carol. I could go now.
Day before yesterday, Brenda went out on the porch and we found a beautiful male house finch that had been killed on the porch. We think either hit the door or maybe it got hit by the ceiling fan. We've got ceiling fans out there with lights underneath, And last year we had one of the birds, and I don't think it was actually the English sparrows. I think it was something else.
It was something native, I'm sure.
And they built a nest inside the light fixture.
Oh,
so
well, that would be an English sparrow then. Well, maybe it was a wren.
Well, I think it was a wren or something because it didn't look. I don't remember it looking like an English sparrow, but we had plenty of those going on. But anyway, she's been running. She turned the fan on to keep them from getting down in there. But so I don't know if that got this bird. Anyway, we had this beautiful example of a house finch, and she called Kelly up and said, I guess was telling her about it. And Kelly was all excited. She said, put it in the freezer, I want it. I want it. So we now have a house finch in the freezer, which is not bad. Bear in mind that when I was younger, in Mark's lifetime, I'm sure he did the same thing. Putting birds and dead animals in the freezer was a good way to preserve them.
That was a normal. That's a normal. I still do that. That's just a normal.
And I can remember my mother opening up the freezer and won't know what in the hell in there. Anyway, freezers work for that.
Yeah, and then you get around to doing something with them or throw them away.
Eventually, I had an elk skin that the freezer thawed out one time and it ruined. That made me so mad. Somebody had given me an elk skin they brought back from a hunt, and anyway, I wanted to tan that so bad. I should have got it done sooner. Anyway, these guys, when they do survive, they live to be about 60 years old, or they can anyway. Let me see if I have anything else on this page. I was looking to see what the numbers were. I thought I had the numbers. They were down to 27 individuals in 1987. And they captured them all that they could. And they put them, I think the San Diego Zoo was one of the primary places where they bred them. And then eventually, and they, when I talk about them doing that, they had to learn how to and this is common knowledge for people that watch. You see them doing this today, feeding wild birds that they want to release back into the wild, because once you get them acclimated to people, it's hard to return them to the wild and not have them end up dying just because you did that. So now they feed them with hand puppets and they do all that stuff, and they learned a lot of that with these guys. At least that's what I remember reading. So let's see and I've got some more pictures here and get an idea. This is how, if you look at these birds, literally every one of these birds in these photographs have numbers on them. And that's because most of them are released birds after they brought them all in. This note I've got says they were down to 22 birds in California. And now today there's roughly 500 of them, which has been both controversial and I'm sure satisfying to some people, because they managed to get that many of them out there. They've spent a lot of money on these birds. It took a long time to figure out some of these things and find places, which is one of the reasons, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's one of the reasons they're in the Grand Canyon area, was because they were looking for more territory to release them, trying to save the species.
Yeah, and I don't think it was ever historic range for the species, but
Well, not that we know of. It could have been, but we don't know of it being there. There's no record.
Probably went in as a experimental, non-essential portion of the population when they talk endangered species.
Tina's asking the question, why is it controversial? And
the amount of the funding spent on
one species.
I think that's probably, and the fact that their main food source is gone forever. Well, maybe they'll bring them back.
And we'll see.
I think they'll have a hard time living in that country. It's a lot different climate than it used to be. So,
I mean, California, even like Mark was saying a minute ago, I mean, even after the megafauna of the Pleistocene or the Miocene or whatever era those animals existed, the mammoths and the giant sloths and all that, great animals that left carrion, even back to the dinosaurs, some version of this critter probably existed, or did, at least as they faded. Well, no, maybe not, but that's that. I'm not going to try to just figure all that out. But they had lots to eat, and when Mark said things have changed so much that even on the areas where they might have been buffalo, and I don't even know if there were buffalo where they were at anyway. Not very
many. There were tons of bison there
at one time
in the Pleistocene.
Yeah,
but then it dried out.
And that's the thing. I mean, especially once like California became super populated, then there's even less space for them.
And you're right, Tina.
They weren't sure they'd ever be able to save them.
They have done something.
Do what?
Tina was saying at least there is a result that you can document.
Yes, there is.
It gets down to the point where you're working on a species that their numbers get so small genetically, you're not dealing with a full set of tools, if you will, I guess.
Well, you right off the bat, you decrease the genetic pool to the point where it makes it even tougher to build a viable critter, if you will. And I mean, the ferret was kind of the same deal. There weren't that many of them left out there.
Same deal, exact same deal.
And kind of in some ways, not the
whooping cranes are the same deal.
Whooping cranes, all those creatures that we've tried to save have been somewhat controversial because of money spent and whether they'd be able to survive even if we got them back because of those factors.
And it's controversial even in the biological world. You're with professional biologists, you're spending this much money on this one critter when we could be preserving large blocks of habitat, for instance,
That's
for stuff that's still good, that still populations are strong. So there's always going to be that. If humans get involved, it's always going to be somebody's going to complain about something.
Yeah.
New rope versus horsehair. What do you want hung with?
I don't remember. Somebody else in here might remember this. I've actually got a copy of this video, of the video or the DVD of this movie. But Disney did a movie once called "The Boy Who Flew with Condors," and I can't remember if that movie touched on the fact that condors were about gone. That movie was produced in the '60s, I believe.
Oh, I'm sure it was involved that.
And he was a kid learning to fly gliders or sailplanes, and he learned it in the movie. And this could very well be true to some degree. He kind of learned to fly thermals and stuff by watching condors, and once he figured that out, he could pick up the which is exactly how one of my local heroes that learned how to build wings and helped the Wright brothers fly and the Smithsonian invent the airplane kind of thing. He learned that by watching vultures fly and how their wings bent and curved and where they caught thermals. I mean, he learned a lot about flying by watching those birds. And in that movie, the condor kind of taught this kid how to, catch the thermal and rise up, because that's what they do. All these birds do a lot of soaring. They don't flap their wings a lot, and they can glide forever, and they can pick up thermals and just go up, 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 and up. And we'll talk about that some more in a couple of days, because a lot of the other raptors, hawks, and eagles and whatnot kind of do the same thing, but I'm not sure any of them do it any better than a vulture does it, or a condor. Maybe just because of the fact they've got bigger wings than most critters out there do. But anyway, and you can see that skull at the top, so you can get an idea how big their heads are in a human hand. Pretty good size, pretty good sized bird. Kind of ugly. If you look at that top left picture, one might say, well, why in the world would we ever say anything that looked like that? That's a face only a mother could love, but I'm not even sure that's true. But that's an adult bird on the far left, and then this one on the right is a juvenile bird that's probably less than 5 years old. I'm not sure when they start transitioning. Bald eagles don't get their white tails and white heads until they're 4 to 5 years old. So I'm sure condors are that slow, if not even slower, to mature. I could have got those details. I didn't. I had a quote here from a guy that took some of these pictures. His name was Don Graham. He's from Redlands, California. And the one that's flying, he said, this is a stock photo of a California condor in flight. When you see them setting, they're just a blob of black, and they don't look that large. There's not much beauty to them. Their face is one only a mother could love, but when they fly, they are beautiful. I watched one soar over the Grand Canyon last week. So this is a guy that took these pictures in recent years, because historically they weren't there, in our time at least. And anyway, so watching them fly is pretty neat if you're into that sort of thing, I guess. And I got a couple of pictures here. This is one of the areas up here at the top. That's Pinnacle. On the far left is Pinnacles National Park, and that's a release site. You can kind of see those rocky crags there. The Bitter Creek National Wildlife Refuge is an area where they're working on or have worked on. And the lower picture on the left is you can see an adult bird with a really beautiful condor chick there. And then this one in the middle is where they're actually raising this one in captivity to release, and they're using a hand puppet. And that hand puppet looks at least sort of like a condor's head. The main point is that chick doesn't see the human that's bringing it food, which is really important when you're trying to release birds back to the wild, or any species for that matter. We finally kind of figured that out. If you feed them, you go in there and get all lovey-dovey with them, they're hard to turn loose. And I thought that was a neat coin, though. That's the California quarter, or at least one of them, the state quarter. And on the reverse side, it's got a condor and John Muir standing there, which I thought was kind of neat. And Half Dome in Yosemite Valley. That's named after Yosemite Sam, I believe. I mean, why wouldn't you name it after such a famous and important cartoon character as
Exactly.
Oh, they got John Muir's name on there, and they've got Yosemite Valley on there, but they don't have the California condor listed. But it's right there. They keep the roads clean on. That's right, John. All those they're important. Vultures and well, we'll get to vultures now because we've got one more condor to talk about. But yeah, they do. They keep the world cleaned up. That's what they do for a living. The next one.
We don't have one more condor.
We don't, but we do. And remember, I said Western Hemisphere here.
Oh, you're expanding our range.
This big handsome fellow is an Andean condor in the Andes Mountains of Peru and Chile and Argentina in some places. And there is his range map down at the bottom, all the way down to the Tierra del Fuego down there. I believe it's what that point's called, that area is called. And you can see they get more and more narrow. But look, interesting, there's a spot in, let's see, that's Colombia, I believe. Yeah, I believe that's Colombia, right beside up there by Venezuela. There's one little spot up there where there's, I guess, a population, which is kind of odd that they're separated. Then there is one over by the coast, but that one makes a little bit more sense because, again, we're back to eating washed up dead sea life that they can eat. And I don't have numbers on these guys. They're if you look at the chart, I put the chart on all these down at the bottom, or the scale, so you can see where they stand. For example, this wrong way. This guy is critical CR, and they're still considered in critical shape. That's the California condor. We get to the Andean condor, and they're vulnerable but not critical.
You're kryptonite.
I am. It's that guy, the one in that picture, the upper right. You can see his wingspan and some of the color there, but that orange area right here in the right here, that's his crop. So chances are it's been eaten. It's full enough that you can see it extended. You can't see it in the picture of this one over here that's setting, but you can certainly see it on that one. Yeah, I just have two pictures. So that top picture on the left shows a male and a female. You can see the distinct differences in your head. That birds that have these kind of facial features tend to be the same. The roosters and the hens all tend to, have these kind of differences. And kind of cool, though. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this one right here, since I can't see your screen, I'm not sure exactly how big it is, but that's a aptly named eagle that's riding on the back of that. That's a black-chested buzzard eagle, and it happens to be on the back of an Andean condor, riding it down. Territorial thing, I'm sure. But that eagle is about half the size of that condor, I would say, but it's still a big bird. And that eagle's probably a lot deadlier than that condor in every way you can think of. But I thought that was a neat picture that somebody found or managed to capture. Some other kind of interesting things about the history of condors and the condors in South America is how they were hunted in somewhat cases of left lower picture. I don't know if you can tell what this is, but this is a carcass of a critter. I'm not going to name the critter. And they intentionally put it inside sort of a corral, if you will, made out of sticks driven into the ground, it looks like. And inside that, they're actually catching condors and they're lassoing condors. And they were back that again. That's what I was talking about before. There was some trade in the feathers of the condors, and to some degree, they've always been. I mean, people have always thought condors and vultures. I know people that just would run over a vulture if they caught one in the road if they could, because for some reason they don't like them. But I'm not sure why, but that's just how it is. And that this wood print or whatever this is in the center here shows the same thing. You got gauchos on horseback in Argentina, and they're actually lassoing these birds, or trying to. And if you catch a bird like this on the ground, they can't just jump up and fly like a bobwhite quail or something. That takes them a little bit to get off the ground. So you could run one down probably pretty easily. If you were sneaky about it, you could probably do it on foot. The condors have also been used on stamps in South America. This example, and my cursor went bye-bye. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. This right here, a 60 centavo stamp, and I can't remember. It's Chile. This guy right here, I thought was kind of interesting. This is a very popular, or was at least, cartoon character that was from that part of the world. And I was trying to see if it gave its name.
Buzzard Pete.
The Andean condor is popular on stamps in many countries. It's been in Ecuador, Argentina, Peru, Bolivia, Colombia, Chile. It's had a couple of different stamps in 1935, 2001, and Venezuela in 2004. So have been pretty popular. They actually used to use condors in bullfighting down there, which I thought was kind of, talk about your blood sport. And the whole idea was the condors pecked at the bull's back while the bullfighters were trying to do their thing, which just, I don't know, seems kind of extra cruel. I was thinking I had something about the cartoon, but I guess I don't. It just gave his name, and I didn't put that in here for some reason. But it's Condor Boy, and he's got his own dog, and he's wearing, sandals, and apparently was pretty popular for a long time in that part of the world. I won't skip yet. I'll wait till he comes back. The Andean condor is on virtually every coat of arms in South America. I had a whole bunch of them. I just didn't post them all in here because they all kind of look the same. But as countries go, there's always, just like our symbols. Our eagles always got either olive wreaths in one hand and when arrows in the other, or talon. And so it's like that, but it's for all different, not all the countries in South America, but just about all of them. I might have that slide. Let me see if I've got that. I don't know if I can open that up on the side or not. I'll be able to. Yeah, here we go. I won't try to change the screen to show it at this moment, but Bolivia and Chile and Colombia and Ecuador, Peru, Venezuela, and then Mexico actually has condors on their coat of arms. The condor, for lack of a better way to explain this, the comic book character, the Condor boy, his name is Condorito, and that's a Chilean comic book character. They don't give too much information about it, but apparently popular enough they built a statue, which tells me that it was pretty popular.
Quick.
That hunting condor photo on the left lower is from 1854, and the one in the middle where they're lassoing condors is from 1895. Anyway, kind of interesting. Let's see if I got anything else that might be interesting. They think there are about in 2020. It looks like there were about 10,000 condors still left in that part of the world. So that's pretty good. That's actually compared to the California condor. That's a lot. I'm sure there were many, many, many more than that at one time, but and they've suffered the same problems and issues that California did. Food source. As long as they've got something to eat, they'll probably be okay. But never going to be like it used to be. Okay, now I'm gotta find my stuff again. There we are. The what's John? So anyway, that's the Andean condor. Mark's not back, but I'm gonna move on anyway. So let's go to vultures now, because they're more common. There's more vultures than there are condors, and they're a little different. They're built different. They're smaller. This is the king vulture, which is in Central and South America. That you can see how much more colorful they are. Both those photographs on the left side of the page here are, lots and lots of white on this bird compared to the others, which are primarily black. And look at how colorful the head is on that bird. Now, I'm not going to say that's pretty, but I will say it's more colorful. And that's a male, of course. The drawing or the art up here in the corner of the condor is from where'd it go? Again, I've lost there it is. This up here is a Mayan drawing of a condor. At least that's what we think it is. And it looks more like a condor than it does just about anything else. You can look at their beak, how strong their beak is. That one, you can see it on that bottom picture. This beautiful, beautiful head down here is the beaks. They tend to be hooked on these guys, and that's because they rip and tear when they're eating. That's what they rip and tear the flesh out of the dead animals, and the ways they take care of themselves. Most birds of prey and raptors are like that. I mean, they do that. They tear apart their prey with their talons too, but they rip and tear with their beaks, which are very powerful and sharp, if you will. Wait, so the king vulture is smaller. What makes him king? Because of his colors and everything, Tina. And he's a vulture, not a condor. So there's a difference in them, and size is one difference. But if you look at the wings and how they're made, they're different animals, different, but related, and they all feed on carrion primarily. I have read that occasionally a vulture will catch something live and eat it. It's not that they won't ever do that. And there's always an exception, but primarily they eat carrion. That's just what they do. And somewhere along the way, probably in the earliest part of European exploration in South America, somebody thought this one was handsome enough to call him king. So that's what he's called. But and he is one of the more colorful species that I can think of. Let me see if it tells anything about the name. He's primarily a lowland animal, which also makes it different. Condors tend to be high, tend to at least roost and nest and live in the high altitude countries, top of the mountains, or vultures and I'm going to say buzzards, but they're vultures. They also do that, but not usually at the same altitudes that condors do. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but
And we need to talk about the term buzzard. But
go ahead.
vultures are not buzzards. Vultures became buzzards with Buzzard Pete, but they were never buzzards. Buzzards are actually soaring hawks.
Right. In Europe, a buzzard is the buteos
A buzzard is a buteo. It's like a red-tailed hawk or a red-shouldered hawk or a Swainson's hawk. They're not vultures.
But you won't walk in.
Buzzard, it sounds rank enough, I guess, that they assigned that name to the vultures. In America, hill people called them buzzards.
Yeah, I grew up calling them buzzards. I didn't even know
we always call them turkey buzzards or black buzzards, but they're not buzzards technically.
But when I say it that way, it's because that's how I grew up saying it. So it still comes out that way sometimes, even though I know better.
Yeah, but I just had to get that one in.
No, that's good because
I've been sitting here like I'm losing sleep tonight over that.
Well, I don't want that. I don't want you doing that. Let's see if I had. Like I said, that you can see that Mayan. That's a Mayan drawing, Mark. I don't know if you heard that up at the top.
Yeah, up in the Yucatan.
These guys, and
I bet that's where the term king came from too.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. I mean, that's probably where it started, even before the
whatever
the
the word
Europeans
for
got
king
here.
was.
And here we've got a little bit different examples. That I was talking about how common black vultures are becoming or where they're at, and this is an example. There's a king vulture that's from this part of the world, all down in here in South America, some Central America up to the lower Mexico area, and down all the way down into the top of Argentina and that part of the world. And right there with them sits a couple of black vultures picking on some kind of giant carcass. I don't know what in the world that is, but they're feeding on something there, the three of them. And I guess at that particular moment, they're getting along well enough to.
Well, it ain't that giant because there's two black vultures there with it. But
do what?
The carcass isn't. Oh, I thought that was a rock with some meat sitting on top of it, but it's
maybe it is. But when I first looked at it, I thought this whole thing was a carcass.
It
I
was
thought
an animal
or something.
Yeah, might be.
But it may just be
a dead whale.
Do what?
Could be a whale.
Could be. That's what I thought it might. But you're right. It may just be a dead critter laying on top of something. I'm not sure. But they're up there picking away, and you can see the color on the bottom. The bottom part of the dorsal, not dorsal, the
ventral.
Anterior, what?
Ventral
part of the body is almost all white, and there's a fair bit of white on the wings, but it's all at the forward part of the wings. And a lot of the vultures we have here, for example, if there's any coloration or different colors, it's more towards the center or the back. Well, at least that's how I see it. And that's a skeleton version of the bottom one down there. It's the same thing. And one of their eggs, which I thought were a little bit interesting, but if I'm not mistaken, the idea is that some of these birds, because of where they nest, which tends to be on rocky ledges and things, that maybe eggs develop in a sense where they don't roll off. They
roll in a circle instead.
They roll in a circle. Yeah, they don't roll off the edge. and which makes sense. And the two birds that are roosted on the lower left are a mature and immature bird. Could be females. I'm not sure about that. The bottom one looks more like a male, and even that's not a. I don't even that bird looks like a juvenile to me to a degree. It's changing over to all the white, but it's still. I see eagles like that here sometimes that have their tail is part white, part black, where they're going through that change as they grow up and mature. And then we got these guys, and this is a turkey vulture, Tina. I'll show you a better picture of its head in a minute. But you can see that it's got, you can see what I'm talking about, the coloration on the wings. That I can't say it's white. To me, it's more of a dirty gray kind of color. I don't know. Somebody else's eyes might see it different, but that's what I see. And you see them soaring around. And one of the things, and here's how people ask me all the time, how do you tell the difference between a buzzard? See, I said it again, a vulture, but around here somebody would say a buzzard, and an eagle when it's in flight. And now that bird is on a roost and it's flapping its wings to stay on there or to land. But when they fly, they don't have that much of a V in their wings, but they have a considerable amount of what we call in the airplane world, we call dihedral. And
in the buzzard world.
And in the buzzard world. But I learned it in airplane talk, but they do fly with their wings more in this position, not quite this. And I've got a picture here, I'm sure. But that's, and when you see an eagle in flight, at least bald eagles, I assume Goldens are similar, but in a bald eagle, the wings are almost perfectly flat. And the ends of them turn down maybe just a little bit, but they tend to be flat if they're soaring. Whereas vultures are always a V shape on their wings. So if you ever see them flying around and you're not sure, look at the wings and you can almost tell instantly with the difference. Once you pick up on that design difference, if you will, you can tell. And the map shows that, as you can see, turkey vultures are pretty much all over the country and into southern parts of Canada, which I assumed that there would be more of all these. Well, turkey vultures and maybe blacks would be into, further north than they are. But I guess once you get up in that cold part of the world, they let bald eagles be the scavengers. And they are. They're fish buzzards, some people used to say. But anyway, you can see that the turkey vulture is pretty much from the tip of South America all the way up into Canada. Has the biggest range of any of these birds in the Western Hemisphere. I'm sure there's similar critters in Europe that go down into Africa and probably into Asia and have even bigger territories. But for this part of the world, that's pretty good size. And a skull. I wish that skull was in somebody's hand so you could compare it like to the condor, but it's not. Okay, let's go one more here. Now here we got a little bit better view of the turkey vulture's head. And while it doesn't look exactly like a turkey, when you compare it to a black vulture, which may be why it's got that. I mean, I'm sure that's why it got that name, just by the coloration. I thought this picture at the top left was really cool, where my cursor is right here. The way the beak and the bill is made, or its nose, and the nostrils, how open they are. I mean, you can see through there all the way through to the other side. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but don't turkey vultures hunt by scent?
Yeah, they're one of the few birds on the planet that have a sense of smell.
Yeah, most birds can't smell anything.
And it is so well developed. There was probably only one other critter on the planet that had a nose as keen as a turkey vulture's, and that was a tyrannosaur, which is why they consider that they think that they, took advantage of live prey when they could and ate a lot of carrion. And their turkey vault. There's a really, I'm trying to think what program. Oh, it was David Attenborough's Life of Birds. He does an experiment on there with turkey vultures, and he takes a hand-sized piece of spoiled meat, rotten meat, and buries it in the jungle, like under a few inches of earth, and then climbs up in the rocks above the site where he buried it and waits. And then just like a few minutes, here come the turkey vultures. And they can pick up that scent coming up on a thermal. And they flew down into the jungle, like triple canopy jungle, and dug that piece of meat up and ate it. And I'm just like,
that's pretty amazing when you think about it.
And I was talking earlier about there's kind of a symbiotic relationship with, well, I don't know if it's symbiotic because only one is a benefactor. Black vultures don't have the ability to smell, but they use turkey vultures to find food.
Kind of like a pointer.
Exactly. Like there it is. There's a dead cow. They're hunting both by sight and by using their neighbor.
Yeah. One of the ways they sight is by sighting the turkey vulture, which is kind of funny because you see around here, you can be driving down the road on any given day nowadays, and you might jump 10 or 15 black vultures off the road because they're all down there picking at one squirrel or a dead raccoon or something, and or any other thing that might have died and got hit by a car. And you see less turkey vultures, but it always makes me wonder: did the turkey vulture find it first, or did the black vulture just happen upon it? But and maybe they just happen to be here. But yeah, that's the difference.
Excuse me.
And I use the example of a dog because there are dogs that hunt by scent. All dogs have a sense of smell that I know of, but there's some dogs that have an even better sense of smell, aka a bloodhound. But for example, but some dogs hunt by visual. They see the prey and they see the critter, the prey, and they run after it. Others smell it and follow by the scent, like
a border collie.
like a border collie. And so these two vultures that we have in America, or this part of the United States, you got one that hunts by sight, one that hunts by smell, and the black vulture he knows that the turkey vulture can find food when he can't, and they use them. And they have somewhat of a symbiotic relationship. I'm not sure they're that happy about each other, but
I think it has to go back and forth to be symbiotic. And he's the only benefactor that I know of.
Well, that's probably true.
Vulture, and people get them confused because if you have a juvenile turkey vulture, their heads are black, not red.
Yeah, I think I've got a picture of one here in a minute. I do.
And the tail on a turkey vulture is much longer, which is the way you can say, well, that's a juvenile turkey vulture.
Yeah, black vultures have this little short, stubby tail.
Little wedge-shaped tail and their wings come further back. They're a pretty cool bird, actually, but both of them are. And this is one of the nastiest creatures on the planet. You're talking about cottrell, like looking for that turkey vulture nest. And I actually had kind of a summer job when I was at Hocking Tech locating turkey vulture nests down there close to my home. I think I got the job because I lived down in that part of the state and in the hills, and I'd go to all these rock faces, good place to find timber rattlesnakes and turkey vulture nests. They'd be nested in these, not really caves, but kind of breaks in the rocks, horizontal breaks in the rocks. And they don't build a nest, they just lay their eggs on the rock.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always two of them. At least was my experience. And we would band the chicks, and and their main line of defense is to regurgitate all over you whatever they happen to be eating, which is what their mommy was bringing them and their daddy. And it is not pleasant.
This is an interesting thing about vultures. Their intestinal fortitude is quite amazing. The biology of their GI tract is also pretty fascinating, and they eat some of the nastiest, rotten, bacteria infested stuff on the planet, but yet their system, their what am I trying to say? Their I don't want to say stomach and colon and all that, but their digestive system is so strong that it can eat that food and not hurt the bird. But if they regurgitate that crap on you, you got to remember that it's even nastier than it was when they ate it. And that's what I've always been told by people that have found them in the wild, is you got to be careful, because if you're not,
and they're good. They got projectile. They've got the like exorcist beat 1,000-fold. Yeah. And they're both accurate and nasty.
It's a pretty good defensive system.
I know it made me get down.
You don't want it. You don't want it. I'm telling you.
And I walked down into Raccoon Creek, which was not at that time was not the cleanest of waterways. But I rolled around in the mud and water.
Oh yeah, you take one bad smell for another one, but that's not near as bad.
It ain't near as bad.
I left that John's comment up there because he's going to show me. He said his dogs like to bark at turkey vultures, so he's going to send me a video of that. And I just saw this, what I was laughing about. Here we're talking about eating carrion, and Michelle said that she's trying to eat breakfast. Sorry, Michelle.
Sorry,
hey,
Michelle.
Maria, welcome in. There's the other Thibodeau. So, yeah, sorry, Michelle. That wasn't intentional. It just worked out that way. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you. Okay, did I change? No, I didn't change the picture yet. I've got a couple more pictures of these guys here, and here's what Mark mentioned. Up in the upper, I believe these are both turkey vultures. At the top left, you can see them right here. You got a black head and a red head.
But that's a black vulture.
That is a black vulture, isn't it?
See its neck? It's
yeah, that's true. I can.
Different.
Who knows why their heads? Why they don't have any feathers? Raise your hand in class. You know why they don't have any feathers on their head. Okay, Mark, tell the class why they don't have any feathers on their head.
Because of what they eat and where they put that darn head to feed.
Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, if you look around the world, you see a lot of critters that are in this family, and some you don't think about, like some of the storks. And I don't know if this is true for all storks.
Marabou storks are awful, nasty creatures too.
Yeah, and they all stick their heads down in things that you don't want to be sticking your head down in. And if you had feathers all over your head, it would make it even worse, and
You'd
probably
be,
not good for the bird.
then look how gross you'd look.
Even worse than they do now. This upper right picture here is something we talked about a little while ago. You see this a lot on birds like this. When they're setting and they roost at night, especially in this part of the world, they get dew all over them because it's so heavy. The humidity's high, and you get dew on everything. But the birds will get dew, and in the morning as the sun comes up, you'll see them stretching like this, and there'll be a tree full of like black vultures around here, and they'll just be full, and all of them will be sitting there with their wings out, catching the sun, warming up and drying up until they're ready to, I don't know if they get so wet they can't fly, but I'm sure it's not as easy. But they all do that sunbathing thing or basking. And of course, when you're black like that, it doesn't take too long to get pretty warm, I'd say. This lower pictures, the one on the left, of course, is in flight. Again, you can kind of see that V I was talking about on that bird. Not real well. That angle's not perfect, but you can get an idea of the fact that they have a little bit of a V. Not as exaggerated as that one a minute ago that's landing on the post, but you kind of get the idea. And then I put this one on the lower right here. Let me get the cursor on him. Oh, wrong picture. Back up. Why can't I put my cursor on him? I know you guys think I'm nuts, but I can't always see it. But right here in its little old beak, it's got a little old garter snake or something similar. And I don't know, Mark, is a Cory bustard, is it considered a vulture or a vulture type bird?
No, well, it's a creature that eats other creatures, but it's not a vulture.
But it's not a vulture, and that's not really important anyway, because there's a lot of bird raptors that eat snakes. I've seen all kinds of. I've seen them flying over my house many times carrying a snake in their talons. Red-tailed hawks, red-shouldered hawks, just about any of them do. But that's what that.
Now, with vultures, they would only carry them in their beak because they don't have big old sharp talon claws like.
Yeah, not like a hawk does, or
like a hawk or an eagle.
Yeah.
Or an osprey. They just don't. They have kind of blunted off, almost look like hooves. Their toes do, and they're not equipped to capture prey with their feet like the other diurnal raptors. But that beak is effective.
It's pretty effective, and
I think they probably eat a lot of snakes.
Do what?
I think they probably eat a lot of snakes.
I think they probably do, and they probably even catch a few of them alive from time to time.
Yeah, that's.
I mean this one may be alive or may have been when it caught it, because if you look at it's tail, it's not completely relaxed. It's almost like it's still moving its tail. Can't tell. The picture actually said it was a live snake, but who knows? It doesn't. I can't tell, but it could be. And then you think about how many snakes get run over around here on the road, and they probably feed off them quite a bit. But anyway, that's our friend the turkey vulture. I got the black vulture. I believe I saved the last. So we'll get some more pictures here in a minute. I think I got better flying pictures with him. Next one we got is in South America, and it's called a greater yellow-headed vulture. And any guesses why it's called a yellowhead? And you can see at the bottom here on its rated, and it's of least concern, so their populations are probably doing pretty well. They think they are anyway. And there's actually two of these guys, and I'll show you the other one just in a minute. They divided them up in 64 So this one got divided way before the blender and DNA came along. So there's probably a pretty good reason, but basically it's a greater and a lesser. We have graders and lessers of all kinds of birds out there. Like even there's a greater and lesser goose, I think. Canadian goose, isn't there, Mark?
There's so many subspecies of that bird, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that reminds me of a funny story. At least I thought it was funny. My good buddy that I used to cowboy with a little bit, his dad was an old cowboy, and he said there was only 2 species of raptor. Because I'd say, oh, look, there's a Swainson's hawk, or look, there's a ferruginous hawk. And he's like, no, there's only 2 kinds of hawks. You got your greater and your lesser chicken hawk. And that was
greater and lesser chicken.
He's like, if it's big, it's greater. If it's little, it's lesser.
Well, that's an easy way to tell them apart, I suppose. If you just divide them up into 2 groups, that's pretty easy. Till you get up where they're kind of close, then you got to decide, is that a greater or is that a lesser? So, which one's which? Is a red.
Brenda wants to know, are vultures good parents? Well, they're feeding their kids rotten meat, so I'd say no.
I think they're as good as any other birds are. Mark's right. I mean, think about that for a minute. They are feeding them rotten meat. And what's Brenda? They're saying we were here first. I don't know what are they discussing. We have a starling trying to get into the nesting box, and the purple finches are beating on him. Well, that's good. I hope they beat him plumb away because he's a foreign invader. They need to beat him all. Get rid of him. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised he's trying to get in the box. I'm glad the purple finches have claimed it, though. Last year, the other visitor from Europe has took it over and raised about 200 broods, I think. They raised at least 4. They raised at least 4 clutches of birds in that box last year.
I swear, I've never seen it this early, but I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that we've got house sparrow, English sparrow chicks that have already fledged here in Wyoming, which is stupid. Well, it's been such a mild, weird year for us. I know it hasn't been for you folks in the East, but we've been like summertime drought thing going on. And I mean, heck, it's going to be 70 degrees today. It's never this warm here this early. And so because we feed birds year round, the numbers are, I've yet to employ my jihad on them, but it's coming.
Well,
they eat so much chicken food that I can't keep up with them, so they're going to have to go bye-bye.
We've had house sparrows, English sparrows. As far as I know, they're the same bird.
They are.
We've had them trying to get in our nest box all ready. We saw them carrying sticks into our box, and I bet it was February.
Yep. So we've got on this old house we live in. We've got kind of open eaves on the outside. That's perfect. That's got a little shelf there. That's a perfect place for them to stuff all their fire hazard.
Mm-hmm.
And I just take the hose and blow them out of there when I can find them. But they're every cavity, every hole, every whatever, fence posts. I got some hollow fence posts. They nest in those. And I don't have any real birds here anymore.
Real birds.
Well, I mean, I don't have normally by this time of the year I would have 20 species visiting the feeders. And now it's just starlings, red-winged blackbirds. I've had one junco in the last month, and a billion English sparrows.
Yeah, and
I refuse to call them house sparrows because
that's me.
That's close to house finch, so I just call them English sparrows.
And once they start laying eggs here, their young tend to come back here to have their nest. So you get more.
And their incubation period is really short, and they lay eggs, and then it's not very long. Here they come.
Which is what I said last year. We had at least 4 broods come out of that one nest box last year, and they were all English sparrows. And I put it out there hoping that the house finches would get in it, but no, but they didn't get it before the damn the English sparrows seemed almost like they were there waiting on it.
Well, my house sparrow, English sparrow removal service has been absent here of late. I usually have a couple of Cooper's hawks and some sharp shins hanging about, but they seem to have migrated out normal, but the English sparrows are here for, they just live here. And we've got heaters in the hen house, and so they got plenty of warmth, and they eat the chicken feed,
and they get inside the hen house, don't they, with the chickens?
Yeah, they're in there roosting on they're roosting up in the rafters.
Yeah, but they're still inside.
And they're nice and toasty warm inside. Or in my shop, or you name it. If there's a little place they can get through, they're kind of like a house mouse. If they can weasel their little nose through, they're in.
Many of which also came from the old world.
Yes. So
here's another picture of the greater, excuse me. And you can see how yellow his head is. And this bird, and maybe this is partly an example, you can see through his nostrils again. This bird also can hunt by scent and sight. So
and it looks like and so do turkey vultures. But it actually looks like it's probably the turkey vulture's closest living relative.
Yeah, probably could very well be.
Colorful heads and the ability for olfaction. That's so rare in birds.
And they can, like Mark was saying,
you painted that bird's head red over there on that right photo.
This
no,
right.
That'd be a turkey vulture.
Yeah, it very well could be. Let's see if I can do this way. Yeah. So, and then we got the lesser yellowhead, and they're just smaller, basically. And they're also, and they have a slightly different range. They go a little bit further south and maybe a little further north than the graders, but they overlap too in the middle. But you can see they're a little bit more sporadic in that northern part of their range. But again, you can see them up here in this right-hand corner.
And I bet that's a habitat difference because the range map is different.
Probably.
I bet one of them really looks like that. Is that the Amazon that?
Well, part of it is.
Winding the part kind of in the middle of
this part right here is,
of Brazil, like right there. Yeah. So I bet they're tied more to that kind of jungly waterway kind of stuff than the greater is. Because the greater had a much wider distribution.
Right. Yeah, they like seasonally flooded lowlands and swamps.
There you go.
And
that's what all that is.
And it does say that they like heavily degraded former forests. So when you consider how much rainforest is getting cut down every year, their population may be increasing.
They're having a good time.
I was trying to see if it had any other. Of course, they're also, because they're almost the same bird. They have sight and smell also, but
Yeah.
and they like to use thermals. But that I knew that they lay their eggs on flat surfaces, and they feed by regurgitation, which is pretty common with birds anyway. But these guys are, as Mark said, nastier about it. They like to spray it. And there's just more there. The top picture shows one compared to a caracara, or a, is that right? Caracara, I think it is.
Yep, crested caracara.
Yeah, crested caracara, which you may have seen if you've ever seen a bird show at Disneyland or Disney World or any other theme park. Or
we've been to South Texas.
Yeah,
they're on every armadillo carcass in South Texas. I'll guarantee you right now.
Don't they also like to? Aren't they? Isn't it a caracara that will pick up, like they'll find a lizard or catch one or find a dead one? Don't they slam it down on the rock?
No, that's a whole nother bird.
Is it? Okay.
They pick up bones and carry them up way high above rock faces and drop them and bust those bones open and feed on the marrow. Which is way cool, by the way. That's
it is.
I don't think there's anything else on the planet that does that. But
I've seen something, and I don't know if I was talking about it here or somewhere else, where they actually found a place where they did that. They could tell by the scattered broken bones.
Yeah, it's in South America. I think it's a South American species.
And this guy, you can see this one down here. Again, they eat carrion of all sorts, and he's eating a fish that's washed up on the shore of I don't know if it's a river or the ocean, even maybe, because they live all along the edges of that country. And in this case, there's a whole bunch of them over here lined up on this.
Sitting on a fence post, just like turkey vultures do.
Yeah, sitting on a fence post. Waiting for the day to get started, clocking in.
My wife took a photo back in Ohio of there was about 100 turkey vultures just lined out on this guy's fence.
Oh, really?
Around his cattle pasture, every post had a turkey vulture sitting on it.
Oh, wow!
It was cool.
And this picture just kind of shows the same. It's more of the same, but you can see, you can see the underside of the wing a bit. You can see that different coloration. And I don't know. Is that another turkey along with a yellowhead right there? I guess it is. Not a turkey. Excuse me.
Yellowheaded.
This one.
No, that's a black vulture.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's another black vulture.
But there's a yellowheaded right behind it, and then the top photo there, I think, are juvenile yellowheadeds.
Yeah, these are. I put these pictures in here if I found them when they were together, because you can see the territories are overlapping some.
See how that black vulture, it's got that. You can see its whole neck is naked.
Yeah, naked.
Featherless.
That's a better way to say it. Featherless. So we're going to move on now, and we're going to talk about those guys. And I have a funny story about these guys to tell in a minute. And maybe other people do too, because these are interesting birds. Some of the things these birds do around people, which I have to believe is something, of course, they've learned over time. But we were at Disney one time when they have plenty of vultures down there, predominantly blacks. There's probably turkey vultures down there, but mostly see a lot of black vultures, and they hang around places that you wouldn't always think about them being. And there used to be Disney used to have an island out in one of their lakes there around their property that was like a small zoo. They had Galapagos turtles out there, the tortoises. They had an aviary, a screened in or a netted in big, huge aviary. But every night, it was also a turkey vulture roost,
Ha! Ha!
and it come
Or
towards
black vultures.
uh
Or black vultures.
I mean black vultures. Yeah, mostly black vultures actually. And they would roost in there, and they'd be thick in there. In fact, sometimes you would hear them shooting off fireworks over there trying to run them off the roof in the daytime to get them moving on out. But they would hang around in that area, and we were in a room one time that was near the lake or near the water, and the girls they took a beach towel out and laid it on the ground to sit on, and they walked away from it for a few minutes, and the next thing you know, we had black vultures running in there grabbing that towel and trying to carry it off. Well, they did that. They were out. They would do that with all kinds of stuff there where there were people. They'd come in and grab stuff and run off with it. What in the heck they would want a towel for, I have no idea. But they would steal towels and run off they'd just have this. They got this goofy kind of walk anyway. They sort of half walk, half hop, and they're pretty smart apparently because I have seen them in bird shows. Now they train them to do some pretty interesting things, and so they must be kind of intelligent. As you can see, they're marked least concern.
Well, look at him. You can tell just by looking at him that he's got some serious brains.
Thinking right here real hard, like hey,
he's studying it out.
Yeah, I mean, he's thinking about it. That picture at the upper right, I thought this was a black and a.
Well, it's a black, and it looks like a boodio in front of it, but
yeah, maybe it is.
Looks like a dark morph red tail with a black vulture following it. Is what it looks like to me.
This bird's bigger than this bird, the black vulture. Anyway, so you can see the wing tips and their different coloration on the bottom, but anyway. These guys are funny. They're just interesting in that regard. Excuse me, I went the wrong way, as I'm prone to do. And here you can see one sitting on a limb. You can see that featherless head. Couple of chicks. Again, they're just kind of laying there on a rock. And you got a turkey and a black right down here sitting eyeballing each other like, hey, what are you doing here? I followed you here. You smell something, I came running. And this drawing, I like to include these sometimes is of course an Audubon print, and it's two black vultures.
I'm sick, but that's one of my favorites.
You said it's sick?
I said I'm sick, but that's one of my favorite Audubon paintings. Is that the black vultures on that deer head?
They're eating a deer carcass. They're doing their job, which I thought was I liked it too. I put it in here. And here's kind of what we were talking about before. And I believe this is a true albino, I think, but maybe I'm wrong. But it looks like it's got pink. All the other parts are pink and it's all white, which is kind of neat. And there's another one at the bottom. If you guys can see this guy, he's got a strange coloration going on.
Leucistic, they call that.
Yeah, leucistic, they call that. That's true. This one up here, this one up here to me is, if it's an albino, if it's a true albino,
it looks like an albino. Leucistic? It what?
Is it still considered leucistic? I guess it would be.
I don't think so. Maybe it is.
But
it's a different gene. It's totally different.
Like this bird I would call this bird leucistic. He's not albino. He's not pure white. He doesn't have the white eyes or pink eyes and legs. This guy up here has little or no pigmentation on anything, and
Probably red eyes.
and probably and red, pinkish red eyes or whatever. You can't see them, but they look it to me. But this tree over here is what I see around here pretty regular. There's a couple places down the road where we've got regular black vulture roosts, and that tree is plumb full of them. And they're probably all either done their sunbathing or they're about to when the sun comes up. But you see them like that fairly often now. And I don't know if they were like that when we were kids or not. I don't remember them being as plentiful.
I never saw them.
And I'm not 100%.
I mean, we saw turkey vultures all the time.
Yeah.
It was just, there'd be, if there was a roost, a communal roost, there'd be 6 or 8 of them, Now you see roost trees that
Like
so many vultures, they're actually impacting the tree.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they sure do. Just like most birds, once they find a good roost spot, they tend to stay there. And unfortunately, their excrement tends to kill the tree.
Did you take that photo?
No, I didn't take that.
Because that looks like that roosted up by mom and dad's.
No, I didn't take that. I'm not sure where that picture was taken at.
It's a whole line of trees like that, kind of in that kind of. It just reminds me of the spot.
Is each tree? I can't remember, but is each
every tree's just loaded, just like that. It's like, golly, how many vultures are there just in this one little roost? And
really?
we have them here in Kimmer, not here, but in Kimmer, we have around our courthouse, we've got some big old fir trees. And the turkey vultures roost in those fir trees all pretty much half the year, whenever it's warm enough for them to be up here. And you can always tell a rookie if they park their car anywhere near those fir trees.
Do you guys? I don't know if turkey vultures. I'm going to go to the next slide, and then I'll talk about it. This is the last slide, but I'll show you why. It's the end for now. We will be talking about more raptors, the more common ones that you think of as a raptor. But here's a turkey vulture sitting on a sign that says vultures may cause damage to vehicles. I don't know if turkey vultures are
bad. Black vulture sitting on a sign.
Yeah, what did I say? Turkey? I'm sorry. Black vulture sitting on a sign. That's a real problem around here. Around here, that's become a real issue.
Yeah, so we were going to Fort Frederick, Maryland. Dad and I were. First turkey vulture I ever saw hit by a vehicle. Semi truck popped over the top of a little saddle, and a turkey vulture like flushed up, and he hit him right in the windshield, and that windshield just exploded. I mean, we thought the guy was injured. We stopped, and he wasn't hurt, but he had glass all over him.
Oh, I bet.
I had never once seen a dead vulture laying on the side of the road or anything like that at that time. And that's just been, I don't know, 15 years ago or so. And now I see them fairly commonly.
Well, the other thing we had a problem here with is, but around areas, for example, a boat ramp with a parking lot.
Yeah.
And you go fishing all day and you come back.
And clean your fish.
When they clean their fish, they leave scraps there. They leave food there for vultures. But what happens is I don't know if they've answered this question really. They think it's mostly juvenile birds that do this, but the turkeys, the vultures, while they're sitting around waiting on the next food source to come in, black vultures at least, they'll sit and pick. They'll damage cars by getting on them, and they'll pull the windshield wipers off of a car They'll chew them up. And any other available rubber seal that they see sticking out, they'll pull on it and pick on it until they tear it to shreds. Like a windshield, rubber gasket around the
Yeah.
windshield, they'll destroy that. And it's become a point. It's gotten so bad that we had to start going in there and figure out ways to run them off. And Fish and Wildlife Service, what used to be APHIS or whatever, came in, damage control people, and they did all kinds of stuff to spook them away from the parking lots. But they
And then
also,
they just started shooting them. I
well,
bet.
we put up signs telling people don't leave your trash outside the can, which we had special cans there that close, bear-proof cans, and don't clean your fish here, and don't leave your scraps here, and all that kind of stuff, trying to get fishermen to be more responsible because they were bitching about their cars, pardon me, complaining about their cars getting damaged, but they were still leaving fish scraps there. So we worked on that, but they actually did like several $1,000s worth of damage to this one guy's truck that I remember. I mean, they tore it all to pieces, and they also would go to boat dock where you got boats moored and parked, in slips around the boat dock. They would land on the boats and roost on like the bimini tops and things, and then while they were bored doing nothing, they would go down and start ripping the seats up, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
would absolutely destroy all the seats and the foam rubber and whatnot that was in. They'd destroy the seats in the boat. I saw lots of them. Dock owners and boat owners were all the time complaining. I mean, I don't know what they thought we'd do, but what you just said is what ultimately happens. They shoot a few, they hang them up as effigies, and to kind of like warning them off, I guess. I I don't know.
It's
I guess,
like hanging a pirate in a cage along the coast.
yeah, exactly. Or putting his head on a stick as you come
I
into
mean,
harbor.
at some level, with some of these wildlife issues, that lethal control is the only option, or get over it and don't worry so much about your boat.
Well, that's kind of what it amounts to, and in time, it just gets to the point where you either do that or you can't move them. I mean that's what they did, and it got better. But I've read and heard now in recent years, and this seems to be a fairly new phenomena that they're tearing all this stuff up and doing all this damage. But I think
Well, numbers are so much higher than they were.
exactly the numbers are higher, and there's more juvenile birds hanging around at these places,
We
and they
provide
think
them with way more food than they used to have, so there's way more of them. I
yeah,
mean, you think about how many miles of road there is in the United States of America. It's a constant food source for vultures.
true.
Constant, year round. They got no period of time when they're really stressed, like a critter that doesn't migrate. And living's good if you're a carrion eating
Excuse me. Yeah, it is. I mean,
creature.
we don't think about that a lot, but I mean, I'm one of these people that has for years has kind of watched roadkill. I mean, because it's become. I mean, there's some day you can't. I'd say on any given day, we live less than 3 miles from town on the back road here, or
And
about
there's
three.
something dead along it all the
There's
time.
always dead critters between here and there. It can be skunks. It might be a possum. It could be these days more raccoons than there used to be here. I mean, or it could be a dog or a cat or a deer.
Or a white-tailed deer, or
Yeah, I mean, there's always something around. So if you think about that, I guess it's no surprise that there's more of them now. I mean, I don't think people equate that to. I mean, on one hand, you're cutting numbers down on some species, although likely that they're in the road, there's probably more of them than you think. But you're increasing food source for vultures. They're there, and I mean it's kind of like eagles in Alaska hanging around the boat docks where there's fish scraps, all the time. or that kind of thing. If there's a food source, they'll be there. And
Or
so
grizzly bears.
I see one hit by a car, like you're saying. Do what?
My buddy was doing he got hired on to be the protection guy for some oil exploration guys up in Alaska.
Yeah.
And so he was packing firearms for bears. And the place that they lived, they stayed on this lake, and the bears were coming in and eating the salt treated lumber that they used to build the docks.
Really?
They were getting the salt out of that wood.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so
well, yeah.
my buddy thought that it'd be good to take bear spray and spray that wood down, and that way the bear wouldn't want it. And it turns out the bears like Mexican food. They like some pepper on their salt treated lumber. So it did the exact opposite of what they attracted even more bears to the docks.
That reminds me of the
I'm
the
like,
story.
if you want them not to chew on it, you need creosote, not
Not bear spray.
yeah.
Sort of reminds me of the story of the hikers, or the story that they used to tell some people when they're going in the outback, or the woods and like places where there's grizzlies. You can always tell how'd that go.
Is
You know,
this bell?
wear
Does this
bells
got something to do with bells?
It's got something to do with wearing bells on your shoes, and then bear spray. And what you get is a bear that jingles when he walks and smells like bear spray. So it's hard to say which one. It's kind of like sharp repellent.
And on that happy note,
On that happy note, I think next week we're going to talk about. Mark gave me an idea yesterday, and I'd already had this half done. About fossil sharks and that whole concept. I think that's a good idea, so we're going to talk about that some more. Mark, I think I scared Mark the other day, though. I sent him this picture and a car seat. But I was just kidding. I really was. Oh, I got a note from my wife.
I was like, no, I'm not.
He's going to refuse to ever come on the show again.
No, I'm not going to talk about car seat safety again.
No.
As a matter of fact, the only thing I'd like to talk about car seat safety is basically, if you're a human being, they want you to be in some kind of booster seat. Doesn't matter how big you are or small you are. And my wife has a Jeep, a three-seater, three separate
rows.
Yeah, you can take a bunch of grandbabies in one vehicle. That's what it was purchased for. And every seat in the back seat and the middle seat has got a car seat of some form on it. And every time we want to do something with that vehicle that doesn't involve hauling a whole pile of grandchildren, I got to take all that crap out of there.
When you put adult-sized people in it, you got to remove all the other.
And it's not like it happens instantly. It's kind of a big deal to pull a car seat out of a vehicle.
And then to put them back in too.
Yeah. And that's my job. Apparently, I don't recall that in the contract, but
maybe she saw the show and figured you'd be an expert. See what Carol said? She said the car seat show will never die.
It'll never
go down in history as being, oh yeah, that's that guy did that.
That's that guy did the car seat show. It won't be like, before we got on this morning, I got sucked into the Google world,
Ah,
and I hit upon a skit from Harvey Korman and Tim Conway. And Tim Conway's a little old guy behind the counter, and he's a clock repairman,
oh Lord.
and he's got that Einstein looking gray hair. You know, he had that
Yeah.
one character, and he and Harvey Korman brings him a clock to to repair, and he says, "Oh, we'll give you a loaner clock. You can get a big loaner clock or a little loaner clock. We have one clock that looks like an owl." and he said, "And one eye is the hour, and one eye is the minute." And then he crossed his eyes. He goes, "This is 2:45," and he crossed his eyes. And Harvey Korman lost it.
Well, knowing those two and knowing Tim Conway,
It was totally ad lib. The whole owl clock thing was a total ad lib.
that's usually what happened with
So
those
if
guys.
you Google Tim Conway owl clock, you'll get to see that skit. It's hilarious.
I will do that here in a minute. Oh, me. Those Harvey and Tim skits were the best. I loved when Harvey tried to hide his. Yeah, those guys would get Harvey Korman and Carol Burnett. And anytime Tim Conway was around, you were in danger of that happening because he would do that stuff. And he was so good at it. And and it was so funny, the things he would do. And so much of that was just ad libbed and off
Just
the cuff.
like he had just come off the cuff. He just.
I saw.
He's a genius.
He was a genius. And somebody else that was really good, maybe not funny in the same way, but Dick Van Dyke did stuff like that too. And I saw a video recently I was watching some shows about him, and there was an interview with Carol Burnett, and they had done a show together, and it might have been like the Dick Van Dyke hour when he'd have like a variety show on TV for a little while. And they were doing something, and they were talking, and it's part of the show. And all of a sudden, he had that. They went into like a slow motion sequence, and they started a fight. He like throwing punches, and she was throwing punches, and it lasted for 2 or 3 minutes, and it was all ad libbed, and it turned out to be one of the most highly watched parts of that show ever. And it was all off the cuff, and it was funny, and it was all done like in slow motion. They were both acting in slow motion, falling down and taking flips, and I mean, crazy. Some of those guys, and Tim Conway was absolutely one of the best at that. He was so fun. I mean, watching those guys like Harvey Korman try to keep control of the show or keep control of their actions was as funny as what he did usually. Tina said they had to tape twice to pick out the most clear parts. Oh me. They were good. No, those guys were just so good. You can see them.
Anybody need anything hauled to the dump? Because I'm fixing to go.
No, I think we went to the dump day before yesterday. Because Brenda gave
the vultures. I'm going to the dump.
The old guy that stays there and mans the convenience station here for the dump. Brenda took him Brenda puts all of our aluminum cans in a bag, and instead of putting them in the bin, she gives them to him. So I guess so he can sell them for aluminum. Right. And he always has a treat for her, either an apple or a piece of candy. And yesterday or day before yesterday, he gave her 2 little Mallow cups, which I thought was good because I really like Mallow cups. He didn't give them to me, mind you. He gave them to her, but I got one of them. Oh, okay. Hang on a minute. My wife sent something I need to show
I
because
sent you a
somebody
picture.
asked a question already about it. Here's my birthday cake.
Oh, gorgeous.
That's a carrot cake.
Oh, not so gorgeous.
Oh, I love carrot cake. And this is what it looked like after she talked me into tasting it last night. I tried to get her to wait till it was actually my birthday, but she said, "No, I made it. I want to see what it tastes like." She said, "So happy birthday. It's after midnight somewhere." And we cut it. It was, oh, it is so good. I grew up eating my mom's carrot cake, and Brenda learned how to make it almost exactly like mom. Can't ever say it's better than your mom's because that's your mom, you know. But my girls could say it's the best because it was, you know, it's their mom. So anyway, so I guess
Yeah,
that's gonna wrap it up for today. Mark needs to go haul his trash
I'm going to haul
or
various
whatever he's taking to the
ranch
dump.
building parts to the dump.
If you got a bunch of tree limbs and broken branches, bring them over here. Brenda wants to put them in the bogs or flower beds.
If you need broken branches, I got plenty. And
You don't do
I found out last weekend that if you bring broken branches and you got milled lumber mixed in with it, like old fence parts and things, you got to separate those out and put them in the construction destruction zone.
Oh,
And
no.
the limbs go in the like chop it up to make mulch zone. So
And you have to separate it. That's good to know. That's good to
well,
know.
it wasn't that big a deal. And the gal, she said, "Well, I'm gonna have to take a loader down there and pick all that milled lumber out of there."
Oh,
And I'm like, "Well, I'll do you a deal. I'll just do it for you while I'm unloading it, and I'll put it where it goes." And she said, "I'm not charging you for your dump run."
look there. What
You go.
he did for you.
Anyway,
Yeah. Thank everybody for the birthday wishes. And you have a good, be careful at the dump. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt your back. Don't hurt your whatever.
Step
I have
on
to
nail.
worry about things like
I got to
that.
put on different. I got moccasins on. I got to put on shoes.
Yeah, you better probably. You never know what you might step on at the
Step
dump.
on a nail. Sure as shooting.
John, thank you. I'll try I'm sure I will. And guys, have a great weekend. I mean, it's a holiday for me, so let it be a holiday for everybody else. Just to work soon. I'm sure we'll have Chris. I need to talk to Dave. I need to get him lined up to do some more fly tying. And I hadn't talked to him since he got home. I need to call him. He's been fishing pretty regular. I know that. But anyway, that's on the agenda, and we'll probably do some more Raptors here before long. But next week we're going to talk about sharks, fossil sharks,
Land shark.
land shark,
Candy
land shark.
gram. Candy gram.
Oh well. Anyway, all right, guys.
See y'all later.
Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. You know. See you later. Bye bye, everybody. I'll sit here and wave until it ends. That way I'm